welcome to Sullivan's Farm. Still no change in the weather, it's still scorcho. No sign of rain, or we haven't had any rain. There's apparently a few showers coming in the next few days, and hopefully we get them. But we've kind of gone to a stage now with grass where I can't ignore it anymore, and something will have to give, something will have to be managed. So there's two, there's a plan A and a plan B, or there's stage 1 and stage 2. What grass we have here in the well field, and there's a nice pick in fairness, is needed for the calves. They're doing well. We'll have a closer look at them and what else they're eating in a minute. But they're doing well, and I don't want to disturb them too much. I'm putting a backing wire behind them, is that the technical term? And you can see where they've grazed, there's a little pick coming back already. And I'm hoping, like, they're not being forced to graze the grass down to bare or anything like that, or none of the animals are, but they're kind of grazing it well for animals. They're certainly not being spoilt anyway, and they're doing well. The issue is the slowness of the growth. Like, there is a pick coming back, as I was showing you a minute ago, but it's just not kind of coming back fast enough. There's no panic, there never will be a panic, and there's always a couple of plans in the offing. The first one is to just run a wire down by the edge of the bales here so the cattle can't get at them, and then just graze these couple of paddocks. There's more there, but sure, look, we can run a wire down beside those as well and graze this. The plan was this was going to be second cut silage, but I probably have enough bales already for that, so there's no problem grazing this. That's stage 1 anyway. DEFCON 3, we call that DEFCON 3. Stage 2 of the plan, and I'm going to call it DEFCON 4, involves those bales and that round feeder. Stepping into the breeze for a second there. DEFCON 5 then would be everything out the gate, but I'm fairly sure it's not going to come to that. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully we'll get the few showers and it won't even be an issue, but if we don't, we'll manage. I think the stocking rate is about 3 livestock units per hectare on the grazing area, but other than that, overall it's not that high, so there's never too much pressure on. I had a really great chat with a man last week about a lot of things, but the purpose of the conversation was about getting back into the Borbia quality assurance scheme. So hopefully over the space of the next couple of weeks, the next 2 months maybe, I'll be back in that again. I've a few jobs to do. We made a start on the paperwork, and one of them is just cleaning out the shed here, so we'll get to that in the next week or two as well. All these things are only small jobs, but it's just to get around to them. While you're juggling 20 other things, it takes a little bit of time. There was 2 jobs for the transport box that now identifies as a bucket loader on the tractor. The first, I suppose, is to clean out that there. You can't really see the brackets, but the man who converted it did a nice job on it. We clean out the shed, as I said, in a few days, but what I did there a couple of days ago was to bring down a bit of gravel and stone and stakes and bits and pieces to the far-off knock. And we got this job eventually finished. So a bit of trunking underneath it there to build it up, but it's pretty much done at this stage. This is where they broke or spilt over the plastic water truck a few months ago now, and I only got around to fixing it there last week, but it's done for a long time now, so it allows no messing between the near side of the knock and the far-off side of the knock. And as you can see, it is crystal clear so far. No problem with the ball cock or anything. It was a job I came out to do. Was it there last Friday afternoon? Now it was 2:30, I suppose, when I came out, and I said, I'll have a lot of that done in an hour now. I think about 10 to 9 that night I eventually got the thing finished, but so look, it's done, and it's done now. Third thing I'll show just as we're here are these new plastic stakes. These new metal stakes. They're not plastic, that's the whole idea. Metal stakes I got. They have the insulator down here at the foot, and then they're metal up there. What some of these bigger cattle were doing were licking. I saw them licking the stakes, and then they'd push it, and the odd time the wire would fall out of the little holder, and then they'd step out over it. They did it a few weeks ago when they got in at silage, or a couple of the paddocks that were stopped for silage. So I did a bit of reading about it, and somebody suggested these. Now, another man whose opinion I would very much respect said they were useless. but sure, look, I couldn't be told, so I bought a pack of them anyway. They're not that much dearer than the other regular pigtail steaks or the white steaks, so far they're working okay anyway. If we could keep the shock strong in the fence now and in the steaks, we were right altogether. There's the Jersey cross type that will be fattened soon, hopefully. There's 5 of them. 5 of them from, say, they're 2 years old now, or they're just gone over the 2. I'll be picking them out there in the next few weeks, feed them a few cubes for a few weeks, and off they'll go. There's another one of them. She's the half twin. Again, there's nothing you can do, only try to cut your losses as best you can. I'll feed her on there for a month, and off she'll go to the mart as well then. We'll see what she makes. That one is about the pick of them. Like, there's nothing wrong with her breeding or anything. She's just a bit smaller, a bit younger there with the rest of them in the shed all along, so she'll do well. And then there's this one. This is the one I showed, I think, in one of the first videos last year. She looked kind of like a Dexter or a Kerry cross type of thing. We got the horns cut off with the vet there a few months ago, but look, she's always going to be small. But again, we just need to get rid of her now, fatten them up as best we can and out the gate. And there's the 5th one. She would have made a nice cow, but sure, look at, she mightn't have. She mightn't have had much milk. She was always going to be a bit small. You just don't know what way these are going to work out. So again, cubes for a month and out the gate. A bit stiff, like myself in the mornings. There's enough there for a few more days, I'd say. There is. It was there when the calves were still inside in the shed, but we must just move it out now beside where they are out in the field, because the one out there is nearly empty. There are the trucks and the calves, and the meal bin was here. Yeah, maybe this evening, and then we'll move that other one. They're getting through the cubes fast enough. I don't mind too much. It's expensive, but it's going straight on the bottom line, or straight onto their bottom line in every sense. So they're getting a ½ kg in the morning and a ½ kg in the evening, and thankfully they're all eating. There's none of them standing at the back as they would have been doing in previous years. So I'm happy that the transition from milk to cubes inside in the shed is going fairly right, because it was similar last year as well. They all ate. There was no stragglers at the back. I'm not in the best of form at the moment, so I thought, what else would you do when you're in bad form? Only start clearing out dung. The bizarre thing is, there's a little bit of pleasure in seeing the thing being cleaned and seeing some kind of progress when you'd be making no progress in lots of other stuff. That's it then for this video. We've a few weather woes, but we got the water right. Calves are going well, cattle are flying. We've a few more to sell in a month's time, so all isn't too bad in the world. And I guess if you're having a bad day, maybe the thing to do is to clean out a bit of dung out of the shed. Mind yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. Good luck.